Hello, Dr. Shiny here. This is a tarot reading for Cancer for the month of May. I'm also going to be doing 2 readings a month from now on, so there'll be a mid-month as well as the beginning of the month, so keep on the lookout for that. And I'm going to get straight to your reading today. So for your current situation, Cancers, we have the Three of Cups, and the Three of Cups represents a period of achievement, fulfillment, happiness, harmony, that type of thing. There's always this energy associated with it where it's almost like a fraternal bond, or you're in the fellowship of some people who you're all, what draws you together, what makes you appreciate each other's friendship is that you've been through similar trials and hardships, or even just like path of life, been through similar life paths in a way. And that's given you a sense of appreciation for each other's company. And that's good. That's a wonderful place to be. But you can't stay there forever, so enjoy it while it lasts. What's crossing you is the Ace of Swords, and the Ace of Swords represents a new thought, a new idea, or not so much idea as a new way of thinking about things, a new perspective, that type of thing. Um, and it can come forth spontaneously, or it's like all of a sudden you do a small bit of self-reflection and you recognize that there's a different way to go about things. Um, just a new direction that pops up, a new mental perspective, essentially. And that's what's influencing you or crossing you. So it could be that this is presenting you with some difficulty. So now there's some trepidation going forward on the road that you had originally chosen because you have a new idea about it or a new thought about how it's going. And so you're maybe like, a little bit hesitant because of that. And the nature of this card is very double-sided. So it's like the double-edged sword uh, in the card itself. Um, Along with this new clarity, this new focus or something, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for you also damage what you've already built, the foundation of thought that you've already built, the mental stability that you have acquired. So if you start just charging off with like a new way of thinking, you can affect parts of your personality and life that you didn't originally intend to. So you have to be careful wielding this power. The maturation of this energy will be in honing it and being able to use it effectively without causing a lot of uh, uh, repercussions, you know what I mean? Or at least learning to abate repercussions. Now, what we have in the future for you is the Death card. Now, I wouldn't take that as much of a negative omen or anything like that. In the cards, the Death card specifically refers to the period after death or rebirth more than it does the actual process of dying itself, because death isn't really what it seems. It's more of a transition from one period in a cycle to another. And so it does well to sort of focus on that aspect of it rather than some like finality or anything like that. So what this is just saying, I think, is again reminding you that all things do come to an end. So while you may have it really good right now, there may be a reason for you to branch out and try a different way of thinking, a different thought process or something like that. And the next card I'm going to go to is the Foundation card because I think it's applicable this time. But the foundation of this whole situation, or what's going on in your subconscious, how you're being molded, is based on the Six of Coins here. And the Six of Coins has to do with a sense of charity, or and you can be either one of these people in this depiction, but you could be the one giving or you can be the one receiving. And the point is, you're either learning how to give, how to bless others through your wealth, or you're learning how to ask for help and receive help humbly, and pay it forward when you have blessings to share with others, that kind of thing. So I, I can't tell you what side of the coin you're on. It's one of the two. This is a two meaning card by nature. So, but I have a feeling that the situation here is probably more toward your learning how to bless others with your own fortunes, well-being, and stuff like that. And so you're sort of being reminded with the death card in the future that like everything burns, like you can't take it with you, that kind of thing. And that if you store up all this success for too long, for like beyond what is reasonable or necessary, it's going to actually do more to chip away at your happiness rather than give you happiness, because you're going to become aware slowly that there is a lot of need, and that if you have an ability to provide for it, but you don't, you just make the choice not to, that is going to wear on your conscience, regardless of how strong you are, how able you are to hold that back. It's constant pressure that will wear away on you, and it's just resistance that is not necessary for you to have in your life, you know. So there's that. But so what got you here, what happened in the past, was the Eight of Wands. And this deals with taking your willpower and really, really channeling it effectively into something productive. It suggests that in the past you've had some sort of a breakthrough or something, or you felt like it was a breakthrough, where something that you had tried to do for a long time or you'd become really passionate about really worked out well. Like you were able to pour your heart and soul into it, and it flew. It's like building the rocket and watching it take off and fly. So that's the sort of energy of what got you here. You might be feeling like you're riding a wave of success or something like that. Now, what's on your conscious mind, or what is in your higher thoughts, your crowning thoughts, that kind of thing, is the Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is, it represents nostalgia, thoughts of old, wonderful times past. There's a little bit of an energy that it was somewhat better in the past than it is in the future. So this can mean that you are sort of already aware of this transitional period, and you're looking back at like how it was before, possibly like why didn't I enjoy a little bit of the process more while I had it, now that this is over, or something like that. It could be, but it could also just be that you're searching for a state of affairs, a state of events, or a feeling that was characteristically in the past and that you're not really going to achieve again. So you might want to factor that into your considerations, and when you're weighing the options with whatever decisions you're making, that some feelings were meant to be experienced in the past and not experienced again, you know. Anyway, your advice for the current situation is the Judgment card, which makes a lot of sense. This is out with the old, in with the new. This is sort of standing naked and saying, do what you will, and relying on your past intentions and actions to speak for themselves. You know what I mean? Because when it comes down to it, like on the Judgment Day or whatever, that's when the curtain comes up. That's when all the chips are down, and you know, you either did it or you didn't. And there's a sense of peace with this as well, because along with the scariness of judgment, of the old passing away and the new coming in, there's a certain frightening nature to that, but there's also a calm feeling to this card, because it's almost like the button has been pressed. So now it's all over regardless. So there's almost a relief, a sigh of relief that comes with that, you know. So that's what you're asked to cling to and to accept, or not cling to, but to sort of focus on in the situation. It's to remember that the old things all pass away, everything burns, everything dies. So there's a time and a place for everything, but beautiful things are reborn from those ashes. That's how creation occurs. The process of creation and destruction occurs simultaneously. So there's always good at the end of the cycle there. Now, for your current environment, you have the Eight of Coins. And the Eight of Coins represents sort of industrious working away, apprenticeship, learning a new craft or skill or something like that. But it's in the material dimension, because it's the Eight of Coins. So it's like hard at work, building a company or building a new, you know, invention or patent or something like that. But it's something that it'll be skillful enough work that it'll capture or inspire or really provoke the imagination of the people who witness what you've created. So it's not just a simple run-of-the-mill go to work and do your job. This is pouring your passion and your heart into something to shape it, right? But this is in your environment. So this is what is around you, what is influencing you. The sort of, this is the level, the playing field that most people who are around you are playing. So it's not necessarily the one that you've been at, but it may be one that you're creeping up toward or you're creeping up onto. So that would be a nice thing, because this is when your efforts feel like they're worth what you put into them, instead of it being just superficial working away for somebody else or something like that. So that's good that that's coming. Now what you fear is justice. And this is very similar to the Judgment card. The chief difference is this one is really more to deal with the physical illusion, the world, people around you, other persons. And Judgment is really kind of more of a morality thing, a spiritual thing. So this is kind of judgment from men, and judgment is more judgment from like God, But the difference, well, fearing judgment, or I'm sorry, fearing justice, can mean that you've maybe had things a little bit easier than you thought they ought to have been. You may have taken advantage of certain situations or something, or just sort of pulled a fast exit and not really considered the implications or something like that. But you've got to pay the piper eventually, so you've got to face these things eventually. I would say that there are always ways for you to be sly. There are always ways for you to abate the painfulness of situations. So if you choose to go down that road of trying to avoid justice or judgment or any of these things, death, if you continue down that road, you're just going to really stress yourself out and end up being depressed and having all sorts of anxiety issues and all kinds of things like that. So sometimes it's better to just stand still and let it hit you. And when it does, you can deal with it the best way possible and change your direction going forward. But the change of direction is the important part, And the overall message for you today is the Six of Wands. And the Six of Wands deals more with you have been really skilled at maintaining your position, and that is despite external conflict or we'll say negative attention, right? So others want you to fail, others want to knock you down, but you've maintained your position and been able to kind of skate above it, fly above all the drama and all that stuff. But there's a negative in this situation. You can maintain it forever, but it gets tiring. You start to become fatigued, and it wears down on you. It really ages you. And there are also ways of mastery. There's a way for you to move forward that can be in a greater harmony with the surrounding environment, rather than just being so skilled as to avoid them. So that's the constant message for you here, is not to avoid the troubles and the trials, to try to deal with them. But it also says that a great deal of your success has been in avoiding these things. So you can prepare for some cycles in your life to end as you start facing your fears. But most of the time, on the other side of those obstacles, you'll find that your life is or you're better off for it. The world around you is a better place for it as well, because these things are really just your own fears that you're afraid of, nothing more. And so, just keep hanging there, work through it, and stop. You don't have to run. You don't have to hide. You can stand up to these things, and your life will be better. So there it is, my Cancer friends. So you guys have a wonderful 2 weeks, and I will see you again at the mid-month reading. Okay, bye-bye.